I just spent 4 hours processing raw communal grief and um, definitely feeling the emotional hangover the next morning of. And here are my 3 tips on how to feel human again. So, for those of you who've not seen the first video, yesterday I went to a communal grief ritual, and in the form of a grief circle. And so um, there was a wide range of folks who were there, and one of the things that we were taking a particular look at was not just taking a look at our own grief, which if I've shared, I've shared this with you before. I've been going through my own process of just grieving and taking a look at like, okay, what does life look like with an autoimmune disorder? I was recently diagnosed. The other piece that we're taking a look at in terms of grief is looking at the grief that we experience as a community. And so, one of the things that was brought up was just in terms of the loss of life and just the devastation that's going on in our planet currently, and how a lot of us are holding that in our nervous systems and not putting any words to it. And so I'm not going to necessarily share the things that were shared there because I want to respect the privacy and of others and also respect that space. But I can share my story. So I was pretty honest in just sharing that, hey, my body has been going through a lot. And I can't help but wonder if some of the tension and the stress that's going on politically, going on in our country, going on in our world, if that's also not something that's complicating my case. That's something that doesn't get a lot of airtime, that's something that's not talked about a whole lot. And so the other thing that I mentioned, just as I was sharing with the group, is that I'm also wondering if maybe that's why my symptoms are so interesting or it's hard to find a place for it because there is this silence. There's not space to talk about it, and if you try to talk about it with people who you love and care about, it's very easy for folks to go to one extreme or the other, and then the conversation just becomes shut down. All of a sudden it becomes about these polar views, and our trauma systems get activated, and so there's no conversation. And so there's people that I love and care about very deeply that we're not able to have a conversation, and that's okay, right? And so I wasn't sure how this space is going to work. I was obviously very nervous, but I just came in there. I brought some, some mementos with me that would kind of like help give me a little bit of strength, some strength that I did not have for myself to show up in that space. So I definitely felt guarded and not sure about my safety. Thankfully, I have a friend that did come, and so I'm really, really glad that she came. And so that was something, in addition to those pieces that I brought with me to bring me some comfort, my friend being there also helped me to just like chill out a little bit. It's not that serious. We're all coming, we're all feeling it. There's no place to talk. And that was one of the things that resonated for me the most was people talking about this sense of silence. Like there's this silence that's going on where people are just kind of like engaging in their regular routines, which that's great. And I'm glad that we're doing that because that actually is one of those things that I'm going to mention in terms of a tool that's helped me feel better. It's just my routine. But people are becoming so routine about it that it's almost kind of like there's this cognitive dissonance where there's like all this devastation, all these people that are hurting, and then there's our routine and our regular life and what's for dinner. So it's like, okay, well, what about the stuff in between? At some point, we need to make space for the stuff in between. And so I'm thankful, really, really glad that I went to this event. The other thing that really resonated for me, and again, my own personal experience here, was just talking about a sense of powerlessness. No matter what you're grieving, no matter what's changed, no matter what's shifted for you, one of the things that does happen, and one of the things nobody likes to experience, is powerlessness. To be able to feel like I can't change what's going on, whether if it's something that's going on in your body, whether if it's something that's going on in a relationship of yours, the sense of things being out of control and you wanting to do something, but not feeling like anything that you can do is actually going to be meaningful. And so I'm really thankful that there was space made for the sense of powerlessness that I experience. And other things that came up in the meeting that were really important for me, and I'm so glad that we took time for, was we took some time to be able to process things in different ways. We had times where we were sharing directly with each other in a big group. We also had times where we were kind of like sharing more one-on-one, and we also had some sharing time, solo sharing time, where we had time to just be by ourselves for a little bit, but to be by ourselves in communal space, which was really powerful and moving for me. I learned for myself that I needed to not only journal a lot of stuff out and just kind of write out what was going on for me, but the other thing that came up for me really big was I needed to move. And I needed to move my body in a way that I had not been moving my body before being diagnosed. So very early in my journey in terms of like trying to figure out like, something's going on here. I'm not sure what's going on with my body. Very early in that process, I was part of a Zumba community, loved my Zumba group, go faithfully, had been going for about 6 years. And with some of the stress and things that are going on and the tension, the political tension that's going on, there were just too many comments for me that were being made in my communal dance space. And so it started to feel kind of like it started to feel like tar, like walking in a tar pit and feeling tar kind of drip on you, and you're trying to like get it off, and you're trying to pick up your feet, you're trying to move, you're trying to do things, but it's still feeling like this sticky, gooey tar is on you. And so it just became a space where I was like, I can't make myself go. I love dancing. I love being there. But I used to feel like it was a place where that was kind of protected from the outside world. And that place became contaminated for me with some political comments. And with that being said, I'm a military brat. Both of my parents are service members. And so they both fought and served our country. And I'm grateful for their service. I'm grateful for all of our service members, past, current, and future. And they fought for people to be able to have choice. And so I'm not against folks having a choice. I'm not against folks having a wide range of opinion and views. The piece for me that became tricky was I thought this was like an insulated container where we were just going to have fun. We were just going to kind of dance. Like I I did not feel like I got enough heads up a little warning that that was going to be something that was just going to be part of the group now. And I couldn't go back. And what's amazing to me is I've been gone for about a little over a year, maybe a year and a half, and nobody's reached out. No phone call, no card, how are you? And these are ladies that I had danced with for 6 years. And so they knew I had some health stuff going on. Nobody reached out, would say, I love you, look forward to seeing you next class, like knew them all by name, uh, cared for each other. And this is not necessarily to say that that time is containment, that time is beautiful, and I love that time. But it just brought to light this grieving circle that I gave up my communal dance space because of some of the political tension and me not feeling like that was not a safe container for me to be able to go and dance. And so since I did not have that container and I got into jumping in the boat of autoimmune disorder, what's going on with me, and all these doctor's visits, and feeling like, okay, am I gaslighting myself? Am I Is something actually going on with me? But no, my blood pressure's low. Like you can't fake that. Something's going on here in your body. Um, so I jumped into all of that, did not have time, space, energy to even think of or consider finding a new space for me to go. So, but the Grieving Circle yesterday, they played music during different times where they had opportunities for us to process our grief, and they gave us lots of options. There was a lovely menu of options, regardless of your nervous system. And my nervous system, the people that I come from, we move, we move, we move, we move. And so movement is something that is extremely important for my people and for my body, just to be able to process um, regardless of what's going on. And so during the meeting, I know I was just kind of like moving the whole time. They probably were like, oh, she's probably got ADHD. I am neurodivergent, but that's not one of my diagnoses. And I just was moving and moving and moving and moving as the stories were being shared, as poems were read, as music was played, as journal prompts were being given. I just kept moving. And so they were like, look, if your body needs a way to do a thing, like feel free to move your body. And immediately I got up. I'm like, okay, got my invitation. I'm getting up. And so I got up, I just started moving, and I just started with just pacing. And I just needed that movement to just move and move and move. And so all my somatic people, all my musculoskeletal folks are like, of course you did, Virginia. And I get that. But in the moment, I'm not thinking of anything logically in terms of like, what's the science behind you needing to move your body through trauma and this, moving your body through grief. Like my mind's not thinking about any of that. All I know is I gotta get up, I gotta get up, gotta get up, I gotta move, gotta move. And so I just started moving. And I know people probably thought I was crazy. And that's okay, because this is a grief circle. This is the container that we created for ourselves. And after I went through some just repetitive movement, then I noticed that my nervous system was able to kind of start shifting into dance. And so it was really, really, really helpful for me. Because as I started to dance, then that is a place where I was able to finally let loose and just like break down and to just cry. And I just took some time to just curl up in a ball and just laid on the floor and I just cried and just cried. And I needed to do that. I needed to do that, but without being in a space where I felt like I was going to burden those who I love and I care about, that I wasn't going to scare them. My kids have been kind of like their heads on swivel a little bit in terms of how is mommy doing, in terms of my energy level, in terms of any symptoms that they see me going through, or any way that they feel my tone shifting. Are you doing okay? How was your day? Did you have a good doctor's appointment? Do you need to go to the hospital? Like they're really quick to, and I'm like, oh my poor babies, their poor nervous systems. Um, so I needed to just boohoo cry like that, but I needed to boohoo cry like that without somebody being around me that felt like they needed to take care of me. Um, my husband, love my husband. And he's been so incredibly supportive, so incredibly supportive. I'm so grateful for him. And even as I say that, I realize that I may be speaking to somebody out there who doesn't have that level of support in their relationships. And it's particularly in their partnered relationship. And my goodness, my heart goes out to you because I know what it's like to have that. And I've walked with so many people who didn't have that to help them and their partner get to a place where they could do that. So, as lovely as my marriage is, as great as my marriage is, I also still needed communal space. And so it's important for us to have community. That includes romantic partners. That also includes others in community that can come alongside us and to support us emotionally in ways that we just need to be held. And so I'm thankful for that container that was present and that was there. And, people came up to me afterwards, and I had a handful of people saying, "Yeah, I thought about going over to you, but like, I knew that this is, like the container that we'd all created for ourselves." And so, but, I had lots of people saying that they were, they had thoughts for me and were praying for me. And I'm so appreciative for those, for the care that was in that room and for how we all took time to just to hold that grief together. So um, I needed that. This morning, I woke up and my body was hurting this morning. I'm like, of course, my body was hurting. I was doing things I have not done in a long time, but also in the process of holding and in being intentional about holding and making tangible some things that I've not been able to put words to because I've not had community to be able to hold me in it. That space also allowed me to release some of that I was holding that was too much. So this morning I got up. I'm like, ooh, I am sore. I am definitely hurting. What am I going to do today? What does my body need? And I personally made the decision today that, some of these spots that I'm hurting probably because I need to do some weight training. I need to work those muscles. And so I did intentionally do some weight training this morning. The other thing that I did this morning was I got up after I did my weight training, dropped my kids off at school. Again, I try to give myself slow starts, and I have an even slower start on Mondays. And I walked my dog, and we just took kind of like just this beautiful leisurely walk, just him and I, and it was absolutely lovely. So leaning into some of those three tips in terms of things that I've been doing to kind of help me feel more human. Number one, the very first thing is routine. Keeping back up with some of those things that I know my body needs. I, drank my liter of water this morning with my electrolytes and my supplements. I made sure that I ate this morning. I went for a walk. I did some weight training to kind of help some of those muscles that I know are like, what's going on here? What did you do yesterday? I know they needed that, and so I did those things this morning. Um, Other things that I'm noticing for myself that I'm going to need to do in the future is I need communal dance space. That was another thing that we did that was communal that I didn't realize. We did some communal singing. Oh, that was lovely. Um, Communal singing is powerful for the nervous system. We don't have a lot of opportunities in our society and life today to do that. So having some sort of communal creative expression is important, whether it's dance, it's singing, it is pottery, it doesn't really matter what it is, but doing something communally to be creative is something really helpful. So first, like I said, routine. Second would be doing some communal movement and ritual space. The third thing that I've been doing to help myself feel more human is just integrating by just talking with people. I talk with my friend, a little bit after the fact. I've talked to a handful of friends actually, a little bit after the fact, just in terms of like this journey that I had my body going through intentionally. Um, and something that I realized, so this is just kind of a freebie thing, is number four, I know I need to make more space for grief work. I just need to do it. I just need to do it. And it's not automatically something that's built into our society, which is why if you have an opportunity to go to a grief circle or create your own ritual, what have you, please go do the thing. Please go do it. It's not going to be perfect. There are definitely things in my grief circle that I would say was not perfect. Um, like just just getting there for me myself and sitting with the fact of like, okay, how do I go into another space feeling like another space that I was in for 6 years? Like I haven't heard from them. It's radio silence. So that was hard for me to do. And it was important. And I know that it's important for my healing journey moving forward. So please take good care of yourself. Please also find ways of being able to take care of others. My name is Virginia, licensed mental health counselor. See you next time.